Everybody, Nike here. Welcome to my updated Warrior build guide for raids after the May 2017 patch. The May 2017 patch made some huge changes in PvE. Nerfing Seaweed Salad was something that most people in the community had long predicted and more or less expected to happen. But what we didn't expect was that they would nerf it without also nerfing Condi duration food in order to maintain the good parity between power and Condi builds that we've had since the February patch. The end result is that all else being equal, Condi builds are going to outperform power builds. Granted, due to particular boss mechanics or hitbox sizes, power builds may still be preferred for some fights, but again, generally speaking, we're going to get more DPS from Condi builds at this point in time. But really, while that affects the greater overall meta, it doesn't really address the Warrior particularly. Warrior received a few pretty painful nerfs that were targeted at PvP, but had some spillover to PvE. Namely, Smash Brawler received a 40% nerf, and Arc Divider received massive increase in cast time. These two nerfs have made the classic Power PS build significantly lower DPS. Previously, it was normal to run Condi PS at all bosses except Keep Construct and sometimes Veil Guardian. But now it is much closer even at those two bosses. That is to say, if you can only afford one set of gear, I would make a Viper set, no questions asked, no reservations anymore. So we're going to be talking about the Condi PS build today. And the Condi PS build brings an easier to maximize rotation along with generally superior DPS relative to the Power Warrior. It excels in fractals and any particular fractal shard where social awkwardness or toxic trails is an instability, as the Warrior can perform its job at 100% without necessarily being tightly stacked in melee. In raids, it will usually out DPS a Power Warrior in any fight where sustained damage is at a premium, and in large part that is due to having an easier to maximize rotation in addition to just being generally more powerful. More so than ever before, it's easy to recommend this as the go-to build for raid warriors. For the warrior, I recommend Viper's weapons and armor, except for the shoulder piece, which should be sinister. The trinkets are slightly mix-matched, where I use all Viper stats, except for one ring, which I make sinister. This will give us exactly 555 expertise, which, when fully buffed and with food, will bring us to exactly 100% duration on bleeding and burns. The rune set that we're going to use is Superior Rune of the Aristocracy. The weapons are going to be a longbow and sword torch. The sigils will be Sigil of Geomancy and Sigil of Strength. Sigil of Strength is what allows us to stack might for our party. And Sigil of Geomancy is the biggest DPS increase sigil that we have access to. And we're going to have that sigil combo on both sides of our weapon swap. One last thing I want to note. If ANET releases a patch after this video, which nerfs the Condi food to being 10% duration instead of 20%, it will be optimal to run full Vipers for everything, including the one ring and shoulder piece that I recommend currently for Sinister. For our consumable, we're going to use Rare Veggie Pizzas, which give us a 20% Condi duration and 70 Condi damage. It is just simply the best in slot for a Condi build. And for our utility consumable, we're going to use Toxic Focusing Crystals, which will give us a nice 10% Condi duration bonus and 100 condition damage for our troubles. When it comes to what infusion you should put in your armor and weapons and accessories, it's quite easy with a Condi build. You want malign infusions in every slot that you can get. The extra 90 condition damage from the infusions is worth about 700 DPS for a fully buffed warrior. Alright, traits. In arms, we're going to take Signet Mastery, Deep Strike, and Furious. Deep Strike was changed in the February patch to be essentially a free 180 condition damage buff, which is going to increase our DPS by about 1200. Furious, of course, is insanely powerful and an auto-include. And Signet Mastery is quite powerful and becomes even more powerful in fights with adds, where it will proc earlier in the fight than normal, giving you valuable precision. In tactics, we're going to take Empowered, Empowered Allies, and Phalanx Strength. Empowered is a slight DPS boost for us. It buffs our physical direct damage by about 5% in a raid situation. Not a huge deal, but it is a nice benefit. Empowered Allies is one of the best reasons to bring a warrior to a raid in the first place, and there's really no reason to swap that out for burning arrows, even in a full Condi group. Phalanx Strength is, of course, Phalanx Strength and one of the keys to the build, as it allows us to maintain a great deal of might for our team. The Berserker trait line is where we have our big change. Instead of the traditional Smash Brawler, we're going to select Last Blaze. Additionally to that, we're going to take Heat of the Soul and King of Fires. Smash Brawler lowers the cooldown of your Primal Bursts and your Berserk mode. However, the reduction was nerfed from 33 to 20%, which brings it to the point where, excluding impractical weapon stowing gimmick tricks, you're only ever going to get 6 bursts per phase using Smash Brawler. Unfortunately, even without Smash Brawler, you can get 6 bursts quite easily per phase. Therefore, that aspect of the trait does actually nothing. So what it does do for you is it lowers, with full alacrity, the cooldown of your Berserk mode by about 1.5 seconds relative to not having it. That is a DPS gain, but relatively slight in the grand scheme of things. Last Blaze will give you many, many free stacks of burning over the course of the fight, and it will more than make up for the fact that you lose 1.5 seconds of Berserk every rotation. As you might guess, going from Smash Brawler to Last Blaze, this will utilize a new rotation, which I'm going to show you later in this video. So, that's the big change. Smash Brawler to Last Blaze. Moving on, Heat of the Soul is a big DPS boost when we do swap to Sword Torch rotationally. Additionally, King of Fires is going to give us 33% duration increase on our burns, as well as giving us very nice stacks of burns when we detonate a Fire Aura. And detonating a Fire Aura is a big part of our rotation, and in addition to detonating the Fire Aura rotationally, we're also going to get passive Fire Auras from this trait that we will detonate just using the correct skills. So that is it for traits. Now, slot skills. Our baseline heal is going to be Blood Reckoning. Our standard utilities are going to be a Banner, Shattering Blow, and For Great Justice. Our elite is going to be Headbutt, which will allow us to jumpstart our adrenaline at the start of the fight, as well as bring a big CC. The Shattering Blow is a great DPS increase, and it refills our adrenaline to help us maximize the amount of primal bursts we can achieve per Berserk phase. If your group is struggling with CC, you can swap that out for Wild Blow. It would be a small DPS loss, well, not a small, it would be a moderate DPS loss, but it will be a very large increase to the CC capabilities of your build. So that's generally it. For Fractals, you're going to want to swap out Shattering Blow for the other Banner, but that's really the only change you're going to have to make. And that's it for traits and skills. I will show you guys the rotation up next. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do here is go through the rotation in slow-mo and kind of talk you through it so you can see exactly what to do. And then after I show you a loop in slow-mo, I will go through and play the rotation at normal speed so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like in action. Again, if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments below and I'll do my best to address them. Okay, so our opening is going to be Torch 5, followed by Torch 4, followed by Shattering Blow to give us stability, which will make us not get self-dazed by the headbutt. We can immediately go into Berserk and use Flaming Flurry. When Flaming Flurry is about to end, you swap to Longbow. Longbow 2, followed by Scorched Earth, followed by your heal, followed by another Scorched Earth, Pin Down, and then Arcing Arrow. You will continue to auto for a little bit. Your Fan of Fire, Longbow 2, will come off cooldown. you'll use it and then immediately get a Scorched Earth. A couple more autos until you can use your Shattering Blow again. This time through, you're going to want to use your Scorched Earth first, followed by the Fan of Fire, then swap back to Sword, Torch 4, and then a final Flaming Flurry to end the Berserk rotation. Now, at this point, you don't want to immediately get your fire aura from your Torch 5. You notice I'm holding off on my Savage Leap. You don't have a Berserk skill to proc the fire aura. So you want to wait till you know it's going to last. So you're going to do some sword autos, then right at the end, Savage Leap, and then you're going to use Shattering Blow. Then you'll take advantage of the stability from Shattering Blow to Headbutt. And then you're going to want to activate Torch 4, and you should do a couple more autos until your Berserk mode is up once again. And so this is essentially repeatable. You'll be able to do that same exact loop every single time through your rotation, assuming that you have the same amount of alacrity. There shouldn't be any real difficulties in maintaining that rotation endlessly, because the skills will all line up at the same place every time through. The only thing that's going to ever really change is the cooldown of Shattering Blow and Headbutt. Sometimes your Shattering Blow will be up, but your Headbutt won't be ready to go. Just go ahead and use the Shattering Blow anyway. If your Headbutt is up, but your Shattering Blow isn't, don't bother using the Headbutt without stability. It'll be a DPS loss. But otherwise, just follow this, and it's infinitely repeatable because it's a pretty closed loop. So very straightforward, and now I will show it to you at normal speed. So that's it, guys. I hope this video and build guide was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments below, and I'll do my absolute best to answer them. Thanks once again for watching, and I will see you next time.